Vlad TV gets slick-legged in the showers in Alligator Alcatraz. Vladimir Feldman, a Russian-born undercover FBI special agent and YouTube celebrity known for his true crime interviews with rappers and former crime figures, boarded a flight back from a mini vacation down in Turks and Caicos, mainly so his black girlfriend could visit family on her mother's side who were from there. She had to fly back to California ahead of him due to an emergency situation that occurred at her place of business. The following day when he left the beautiful islands, he was exhausted as he plopped his dad bod down into his first-class seat and fell asleep before the plane even took off, only to be awakened by some chubby, red-headed boy who passed gas right in Vlad's face as the fat kid strolled by his seat as passengers shuffled off of the huge aircraft. As Vlad yawned and stretched, standing up to leave, he realized his wallet containing his FBI badge, ID, and passport were missing. Panicking, he reported it to one of the pretty-ass flight attendants that he had fantasized about smashing while he was asleep. The tall blonde woman shrugged, her face revealing that she was in a hurry. Maybe it fell in between your seats, sir. Vlad spent the next 20 minutes clawing in between the stiff cushions to no avail. His wallet didn't appear. When he finally deboarded the plane, he felt the muggy Miami heat filtering through the open spaces in the jet bridge as he shuffled towards the main terminal of Miami International Airport and then towards Homeland Security to explain his situation. HSI Agent Rodriguez was on duty when Vlad sauntered up. I understand that you lost your wallet, Mr. Feldman, but no ID, no proof of citizenship. You coming with us. The 5'6" slender Hispanic said, after Vlad spent 10 minutes jaw-jacking about who he was, blah, blah, blah.
I'm the freaking FBI. Call Director Stevens.
But Rodriguez had already called for backup, and in a half a second, 2 more Homeland Security officers appeared and forced Vlad into a back room. His fingerprints triggered an old immigration record from when he arrived in America at age 5. And with no badge to confirm his law enforcement status, he was labeled an undocumented alien with possible fraudulent claims. Vlad was thrown on a dirty bus to the new detention in the Everglades called Alligator Alcatraz, a notorious Florida prison built on a swamp-infested island to detain illegal immigrants before they were sent back to their countries. The warden was a grizzled ex-military sadist named Clyde Bubba Joe McGraw. He smirked as Vlad was processed, recognizing him from an argument he had with his son for watching white men interviewing ghetto people on social media platforms. His son was watching Vlad when he guest appeared on Matt Hoffa's podcast a year or so ago. Warden McGraw came into the intake room and looked at Vlad's droopy butt cheeks as a burly guard ordered the totally naked YouTuber to squat, cough, and spread his hairy ass open so they could make sure he wasn't smuggling anything into their makeshift prison.
We got a celebrity on our hands, y'all.
Warden McGraw bellowed out, grinning as he spit a stream of tobacco juice in an empty Pepsi bottle he clutched in his left hand.
I hope you like big dark-skinned roommates, boy.
An hour later, Vlad met his bunkmate, whose name was Big Teeth, a 6'5", 242-pound Haitian gangster who got arrested by ICE after getting drunk at a club and getting into a car accident that claimed the lives of 3 small kids in a Chrysler Pacifica coming home from Chuck E. Cheese one night. When Vlad put his mat on the top bunk in the open dorm, Big Teeth eyed him narrowly for 10 seconds before saying, "What up, white boy?" Vlad's FBI training kicked in and he introduced himself to the big-ass, scary-looking bear of a man, thankful that he didn't recognize him as a public figure. So far, this was a prison full of the worst human beings, and the first 3 hours did not disappoint. By that afternoon, as chow call, Vlad had already clocked the layout. The guards didn't patrol, they bet on fights, shanks, how long fresh meat would last. The chow hall was a mess of cliques, Aryans near the trays, the Mexicans by the freezer doors, all black islanders like Jamaicans and Dominicans against the window wall, and a few loners pacing like hyenas waiting for something to break. Vlad sat with his tray of what smelled like wet dog food and sour carrots when a shout echoed, "No me debes más cabrón!" A tray crashed to the ground. Vlad turned and spotted a brutal-looking Mexican, short, tatted, with tears inked down his face and a wicked machete in his hand so casually it looked like a serving spoon. Across from him was a tall, bald white dude with swastikas curling up his neck and a swelled eye like he'd already lost a round. "Gustavo, chill!" someone shouted, but it was too late. The German white dude swung first, foolish. Gustavo ducked, sidestepped, and whopped the machete, saying there was a meaty slap as a severed hand hit the concrete like a dropped chicken thigh. Blood sprayed in arcs, landing in mashed potatoes and carrot, painting the Aryan bench. The German screamed like an animal. Vlad flinched in fear. He recorded it in his mind. "Over a poker debt," said a Trinidadian black dude beside him, nodding. "German tried a check raise with counterfeit stamps last week. Thought Gustavo forgot." Gustavo didn't forget.
Why you staring at my booty like that? Since you want to act all thirsty, you need to hit that like and subscribe button for this video. You keep staring at my booty and I'ma tell my man GK and he ain't gonna let you watch his stories no more.
Within seconds, the officers dragged Gustavo away, not to solitary but to the VIP cells. In Alligator Alcatraz, violence was currency, and Gustavo just cashed in. The German carried out screaming, his severed hand in a plastic bag, future uncertain because when he was brought back to Alligator Alcatraz, he still owed Gustavo. Vlad leaned back, wiped his mouth, and looked straight into the invisible lens he kept in his head, squeezing his butt cheeks together tightly so as not to let go of a huge fear fart he had been holding since seeing the machete's sharp edge connect with the German's wrist. Farting while guys were eating could get your head chopped off. Literally, episode 1, he whispered, "They thought I was soft. I just watched a man get his hand chopped off over a poker debt." This wasn't content. This was survival. But Vlad knew something the rest didn't. He wasn't just in Alligator Alcatraz to do time. He was here to expose it. And that machete was only the trailer. During the rest of that first evening in hell, Vlad had been pestering the guards to use the phone so he could call his peoples to come get him out of there, because this prison, which was set up in a week's time, didn't have conventional wall phones like regular prisons did. It was going to take a few more weeks to set those up, so in the meantime, each prisoner had to wait patiently while a $30 Family Dollar track phone was passed around each dorm. At the present, Vlad was in line and had to wait for 3 more inmates to use the phone before he could get his hands on it, which was going to take another hour. He decided to hit the shower for 30 of those minutes to wash some of the grime and sweat from that day's events off of his body, even though he dreaded it because the shower area was an open setup of 10 shower heads without any privacy from a booty bully's prying eyeballs. As Vlad found a stall near the middle of the room, he reluctantly undressed as 9 guys shared the space with him. As he lathered up with his bar of Irish Spring soap, standing on the grimy tiles barefooted because no one told him that he should always wear shower sandals due to the abundant amount of germs on the prison shower floor, the main being semen from mad jackers. 2 minutes into his bathing session, he jumped, startled when someone's thumb and index fingers roughly pinched his left ass cheek. When he turned around, soap still slithering down his face, no one was there, but he saw several of the 9 inmates in the shower snickering and giggling. Instead of finishing up, Vlad grabbed his towel and exited the shower, going to his bunk to get back dressed. A few minutes after he dried off and got dressed, the officer on shift walked in and handed him the only phone in the dorm. Vlad hopped up on his top bunk and immediately dialed the number for FBI Director Stevens, who didn't answer, after Vlad hang up and redialed 12 more times. Frustrated, he decided to dial his YouTube buddy Tony Yayo, who had been to Rikers Island, and ask him for help in navigating jail life. Tony Yayo balked into the earpiece.
"Bro, listen. First, find the biggest dude and pay him for protection. I didn't do this, of course. I was in G Unit back then, so the whole jail respected me. And don't pay for the protection with your mouth either, or your hand, and definitely not with your butthole. Second, get a job in the library. Nobody messes with the book guy. Third, if all else fails, sign up for PC. Do what you gotta do to survive, bro. I need your ass to get out of there so I can come back on Vlad TV and talk my shit."
After 10 minutes on the line with Yayo, He tried Director Stevens again, and the middle-aged, uptight Republican finally answered, "Agent Feldman will fix this, but bureaucracy moves slow. It'll take a month." Vlad ended the call, defeated, staring around the warehouse like dorm at all of the violent-looking strangers he was forced to live with. After the guard came in for the phone, Vlad decided to take Yayo's advice and find the biggest guy in the dorm and seek protection, not having to look farther than his own bunkmate who was 6'5". But there was a French immigrant around the same height, but he was skinny, resembling a European NBA star rather than a potential bodyguard. Big Teeth agreed to become Vlad's bodyguard for $1,000 per week, which Vlad had to cash app to the big man's mama back home in Port-au-Prince. Unfortunately, bad luck would strike Vlad's world 2 weeks into his jail stay. While Big Teeth was up in the prison infirmary getting a tooth pulled that had been bothering him, a creepy booty bully from Mexico named Juan, who had been eyeing Vlad for days, fantasizing about what he was going to do to him if he got his hands on him, decided to take advantage of his bodyguard's sudden absence. When Vlad hopped in the shower, Juan slithered in behind him, his little pee-pee already hardening, as he stared at Vlad as he undressed and turned his shower head on. As the special agent began lathering up, Juan waited until he started washing his face before grabbing the taller Vlad from behind, nuts to butt. Vlad, who had never been in a physical altercation in his 50-something years on Earth, just froze in terror as the 5'6" Juan stood on his tippy toes in an effort to mount him. Just as Vlad braced for the pain he imagined was coming, he heard a yelp from behind him as Juan was snatched away by his neck, as Big Teeth picked him up like the Hulk and violently threw him into the shower wall before stomping his face until several of his teeth began spraying out of his mouth, mixed with saliva and blood. Luckily for Vlad, Big Teeth had come back to the dorm, no more aching tooth, just in time to save him. Vlad kept asking in belief if he was gay over and over. Big Teeth had to explain to Vlad that he only got slick leg, so technically he wasn't part of the rainbow community because the booty bandit was only able to get his hot dog in between Vlad's hairy buns, but not inside of the actual hole, so Vlad's manhood was still intact. Lucky bastard. If Juan would have stuck it in that hole, there wouldn't have been no coming back from that. He would have officially been a part of the lettuce, bacon, gravy, tomato, LBGTQ group. On day 28, several FBI agents came to the prison. Director Stevens personally arrived, also holding Vlad's badge. Turns out your wallet was in the TSA lost and found. Also, your podcast just got 5 million more subscribers.
With all due respect, Director Stevens, I don't give a damn about that. I almost got 11 inches shoved up my ass in the showers by some greasy-looking baboon. Thankfully, my security was able to stop the grape, or I would probably still be limping in pain.
As Vlad walked free, Warden McGraw sneered him.
You're soft. You better be lucky you the feds, boy. You wouldn't have survived another night in my prison.
Vlad smirks, adjusting his suit.
You dumbass hillbilly. I have the power to arrest you under federal charges, so that's what I'm about to do. Turn around and cuff up.
Back on YouTube, Vlad dropped an episode titled How I Survived Alligator Alcatraz, featuring a cameo from Big Teeth, now a free man and aspiring rapper thanks to Vlad paying for a lawyer for him. Tony Yayo also joined that episode.
So Vlad, come on, bro. Did you really let another man stick his pole in your hole?
Stop that shit, Yayo. Big Teeth just told you that didn't happen, and all the bandit did was slick leg me, which is when they slide it in between your buns, but not all the way in the actual hole.